Good day. Mark Brower coming at you with some thoughts about this fascinating book I'm listening to called The Psychology of Money. The chapter that I just read or listened to had to do with being reasonable, not rational. What does that mean? Being reasonable means doing the thing that you can tolerate emotionally that will keep you in the game long enough to make money. Doing the rational thing is if there was no emotion involved, right? That's what you would do. But doing something reasonable acknowledges that you're an emotional being, that you're a human, and you're going to make irrational decisions. So craft a strategy that keeps you in your asset for a very long time so you can build wealth, acknowledging that you're an irrational person. Here's a couple examples. There's a guy that won the Nobel Prize for modern portfolio theory. Don't know his name, you can look it up. He was later interviewed and they asked him, hey, what's the allocation of your portfolio? He revealed that he didn't take his own advice, that he won the Nobel Prize for. Reason being, he projected whether he'd be able to stay in the assets that he would purchase if he used a perfectly rational approach. And he very wisely figured out that he would not be able to do that. And so he picked another mix that would insulate him from the emotional reaction that could cause him to capitulate and sell out when the market drops significantly. It's fascinating. So the rational thing to do is in residential rental property investing is to chase the highest returns possible. Guess what? I've learned, and it's become clear to me in the last year or two, that the owners that we manage for that build wealth and really stay in the game for a very long time, they're not always buying the highest cash flow properties. One of the reasons, the highest cash flow properties are Class C properties in rough parts of town with high drama. What if we designed our asset holdings in a way that very wisely anticipated our emotional needs in a manner that we could stay in them long enough to build real wealth? Maybe that would mean that we would buy newer properties, we'd have really smart property management in place, and we'd have really quality residents moving in and out. We'd have a little bit lower maintenance costs, right? Here's another twist on this: reasonable versus rational. I believe it's not rational. I've told my clients for years, it's not rational to be in love with your rental property, because when someone lives in that property and abuses it or lives a little bit rougher than you would live in the property, it's super tempting to feel personally offended that somebody would dare do that in my home. So I've encouraged clients to be emotionally detached from their property completely. That's the rational thing. But you know what? Maybe that's not totally reasonable. This book has opened my mind to a new perspective. The reasonable thing very well may be love your property just enough that when you get hit hard with a market correction, or you get hit hard with the occasional eviction, which should rarely happen, but it does still happen if you have quality management, or when you get hard with multiple capital improvement costs in the same year and a heavy turnover between tenants, and you're tempted to throw in the towel, capitulate, say, I'm done with this, reacting to that stress. If you love your property enough to not sell it when those things happen, loving your rental property might not be rational, but in that sense, it is very reasonable. So I'm really loving this idea of being reasonable, not rational, in this psychology of building wealth. So I'm going to revise my counsel to clients. Love your property enough in the right way that you'll stick with it, but not too much that you'll get personally stressed out, offended, and make the wrong decisions if tenants don't treat it exactly the way you did. So those are my thoughts for today. Thanks.